First of all, I want to ask, how does it feel to be back with Exodus after, what, 9, 10 years?
10 years, yeah, exciting, really exciting. It's refreshing and it feels good and the response has been great. And I had a blast recording the new record, and we're just getting along really well. I mean, it's great. I mean, we're older guys now. We know what we're all about. We know what happens. We know what we did. We know we're all, what went wrong with the machine before. And so I think we respect each other, man, and it's great. It's a great mentality now. It really is.
That's cool. And I'm just curious, why exactly have you come back? I mean, what happened that Rob is gone and you re-entered the band's ranks?
Again, I don't know what happened with Rob. I wasn't really privy to that information. And with all due respect to Rob and Exodus, I didn't really go there. You know what I mean? I was asked to audition a couple of songs, and from there they said they were, they wanted, to consider me, me joining the band, but would love to talk to me, each one of them individually, which we did, management included. And then another day or two went by, and they said, hey, we want to get we loved what you did on what you auditioned with, and we'd love to have you back in the band. Do you want to do this? Want to do this full time? Can you do this and not freak out, want to leave, and and turn into Mr. Hyde? We like you as Dr. Jekyll, So and I was like, where I was 10 years ago was a different mentality. I know I can handle this and redo it. So it was kind of just getting back with the family again. Being the uncle that was kind of. I guess, that was, an outcast, for 10 years and wasn't invited to Thanksgiving dinner. He wasn't family. He was just kind of, pissed everybody else off. So I guess I'm now back invited to Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner again. It's going to be great. I love Mom's pie.
All right. Well, you know what? It's great to hear you again. I enjoyed Rob as a vocalist, but you just bring so much energy and enthusiasm into the mix. That's what really stood out on this album. Just your presence.
It's great. It's been a lot of fun. I think I know my character really well. I know what I do good, and I've been in Exodus. Come on, this is my 6th record in Exodus. I don't know how to do Exodus. I was there when we built the animal. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when the machine was being all put together, I was one of the doctors that were helping construct it. So I know how to do this. So just coming in was just kind of really, really simple, and just was something that I just knew I could take care of no problem. And I've been singing with my other band, with my sons, Hatriot, and I've done a couple double Death Patrol records and Tenet. And so I keep myself, it's not like they knocked on the door one day and I was sitting on the couch watching, reality television with a huge ass belly going, maybe I can do it again. I definitely could do it again. Definitely. I'm ready. Listen to me. I'm singing the best guys ever. Listen to the Hatriot records.
When did you find out that you would be auditioning for the band? Was the material for Blood In, Blood Out already written at the time, or was it done after you found out that they wanted you back in the band?
I believe it was completed recording, and basically the only song that I wrote lyrically was Body Harvest. That was I guess it was the only song Rob wrote, so they kind of wanted to just start it fresh with you on and not really leave anything left from the last chapter, just continue, start it over again. So I wrote Body Harvest, but pretty much everything was written as far as lyrics and music. So I basically came in off a scratch track from Gary and learned it, and then just recorded it. I mean, I've been in the band off and on for 30 years. I know Exodus. I helped build it, so I know how to do it. So it wasn't like I was joining a new band. It was a whole new moxie, all these people that I had to get used to. The vernacular didn't change.
I was actually just going to ask, after all this time, like over 30 years, have you seen Exodus, like, when you listen to them now, do you think it's changed compared to, like, back in the day, 30 years ago when the band had first started?
It's evolved, of course. I mean, listen to Bonded by Blood and Blood Out. Come on, you're talking about a guy who was 21 years old and 18 writing those things. He's now 50 years old, well seasoned, and nothing else in life but that. You know what I mean? So he's just, definitely, I mean, it's just more mature. I mean, just listen to it. It just kills you. Like I try to explain this, like Hatriot. Hatriot's like these guys running over the hills, just and if they stand in the way, they're stabbing and slapping. Exodus walks over the hill and goes, okay, you're all going to die, violently and brutally. And it's going to happen, and you know it's going to happen. And we're not telling you how we're doing it, but it's going to happen. That's the difference. It's like it's a definite kill.
Were there any changes made in any songs by you to try and make that kill a little more lethal and memorable?
I don't think so. I think other than my approach and my character that I use singing in my voice, I don't think so. I trust Gary Holt's writing and lyrical writing especially. So I would never try to correct that. I never have. And through the history of Exodus, when Gary wrote lyrics, that's how they were, and that's what they were, and they were great, all of them. I've never said, "Why did you say this? This sucks." I've never second guessed his lyrics ever, not one time.
Not one time. For like the entire time of the band, or just for this album?
Entire time of the band.
Oh, that's actually.
Entire time of the band. I've never second guessed his lyrics. And he came up and said, "Jack, this is the music and these are the lyrics to the song." I've never looked at him and said, "These are stupid and they suck." Are you kidding me? I can write something way better than that. That's never happened. It never would. I would never. Come on. Fucking guy plays in Slayer and Exodus, two heaviest bands in the world. You think that's by accident? You know? It's not. He's a real deal. Ask anybody. They'll tell you. Interview Kirk Hammett, review Scotty, and review anyone. Kerry King, they'll tell you Gary Holt is a real fucking deal.
That's awesome.
I'm very fortunate and very honored to play in a band with him, especially a thrash metal band. A legendary thrash metal band, because he deserves all the kudos that you can give him. Definitely amazing. He lives it. It's nothing he turns on and turns off, man. This is his way he is. He gets it. Understands it. His lyrical content comes from the heart. Those riffs are the anger of those angers of those riffs and those leads come from his heart. And that's why it's so damn good.
Well, you guys have some lyric videos out, Salt the Wound and title track for the album. Will there be any more like this as the release date approaches, or maybe a music video or something?
We did a real video yesterday for Blood In, Blood Out, where it's like total Fight Club scene. We had 120 maniacs come out. It was great. It's very bloody and very fist. These dudes just totally go head in this thing. It's pretty awesome. And the band plays in between it. It's kind of cool. It's for the song Blood In, Blood Out. So that should probably, in the next few weeks, that should probably debut.
Awesome. Do you think that definitely corresponds with the lyrics that Gary wrote?
I don't think it corresponds to the lyrics, but it's damn cool. It's a great idea. The lyrics are more like us being... well, maybe it does. Blood in, blood out. It's kind of like, they're in, the winner of the fight has to fight so blood in, blood out, I guess it could go like that, but the lyrics are more or less back in the day and an homage to how we've always kept the flame lit, and that people like Paul Bailoff were very important to this band, and I think that's what that song's all about.
You guys had some guest appearances on the album too. How did that come about that you incorporated like Chuck Billy and everybody else?
Well, again, Chuck Billy's part of the management team with Exodus, so Maria Ferrara, John and Marcy Zazula are the management. So they Chuck was there the whole time I was doing my vocals. Chuck's really involved in the infrastructure of Exodus. So he's very much hands-on with everything. So, last week we did a fucking 9.5-hour photo shoot. Chuck was there for all 9.5 hours. You know what I mean? He's the man. He does his job quite well. And look what he's done with Testament. And so to come in and sing on the record, he's singing on one of his band's records. And then to have Kirk Hammett come in, Gary and Kirk have always been close, but over the last couple of years, with Gary playing in Slayer, they've done a ton of those, Big Four shows and just cross paths. And I guess over a dinner last year, that they had around the holidays together, they went out to dinner and they were saying, Gary's like, I'm going to do a new Exodus album. Interested in playing on it. It's like, yeah, I definitely want to. And it always starts out to talk, but Kirk actually came down and laid an awesome lead down. And I wasn't there that day, but I heard they had a great day and barbecue, and they were talking about old times, laughing and drinking beer. So I think that, it's all really come together on this record with everybody showing their love, and showing their respect, and showing, what their contribution, and me coming back. Just a lot of good things going on with the band right now. A lot of good things going on in the Exodus camp, I must say.
Awesome. With you being in Exodus now, what's going to happen with Hatriot? Are you going to try and manage the two, or is Hatriot...
Oh, no. I man. It's to have already done that. Like last week, I was talking about that photo session. Well, the very next day, a week ago today, we played in Reno, and then Friday we played in Sacramento. So I'm still doing Hatriot. And while I'm off with doing Slayer and Suicidal, Exodus only gets a 30-minute set that day. So I'm going to have a ton of time in the day on the bus to be writing Hatriot lyrics. We already have like 4 or 5 songs musically. I just have to put the titles and put the lyrics to them. So probably another record next year at some point. Probably not in the early part of the year. I can almost guarantee that. But at some point next year, we'll be in the studio doing the new Hatriot album.
I know with Hatriot, you're working with your son in the band. What's that like having What was that?
Sons, 2 sons. My son Nicholas is my 21-year-old, is my drummer. My 24-year-old is my bass player.
I forgot the drummer was also your son.
The drummer's my son, and the bass player's my son. So, it's great working with my kids. They know what to expect from dad. They know when not to piss dad off and all that kind of shit too. So, and the other 2 are again the 2 25-year-olds that play guitar, just great, really great players and just really solid guys. And I'm really fortunate to work with a very, 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 very talented band. And my sons have put in their time as far as players, so they're good enough to do it. And I made them audition. It wasn't like, well, they're my kids, they're in the band. It was like, well, you better not suck, because, if you suck, you're fired. So they both auditioned and they both knocked it out of the park. So that's why they're there. Just listen to the record. They do a damn good job.
Yeah. Well, what's it like working with them? I mean, having more of a literal family element.
Well, they know what to do. They know what to expect from me, because it's like, hey, you got to do tracks next week, so you better start practicing your songs. I'm going home and practicing tonight. I'm going to the studio with my drumming and practicing today. So they get it. They know what it is. They know what it means.
Recently, I know there was an issue with a fan who posted lyrics of an Exodus song on Facebook and got arrested. 2 days before that, I was driving through town, and I was listening to the new Cannibal Corpse, and one of the songs had references to chainsaws. And of course, I got pulled over by a cop, and he threatened to throw me in under terrorism charges, because at the time, the whole ISIS thing, they took a chainsaw to a reporter's head. I forget the reporter's name off the top of my head, but that happened. And now with the whole, this Mark Frayne, like that's kind of going on in my backyard. I don't know if you know what's going on with that, the manhunt.
I spoke to Jamie Evans. We know exactly what happened to him. And basically what happened was he put our lyric on his Facebook, and when he put it on his Facebook, his daughter had it. Somehow somebody got a hold of her phone at school and saw it. And so when they saw it, they thought, oh my God, we've got Littleton, Connecticut. We've got Virginia Tech. We've got Columbine. Somebody's going to come shoot up the school. And that night was a Tuesday night. They went to his house, and the cop said, hey. And he's like, well, hey, what's going on? And they came in and said, hey, look, we saw this on your phone. Somebody from the school saw it. They told us we have to come over here. It's not against the law what you did, but because of the shit that goes going on, we have to come talk to you. And he's all, no, man, it was just the lyrics to a song. I wasn't gonna do anything. My daughter goes to school. Am I gonna shoot my daughter's school up? Come on, this guy's 31 years old. So then he said Saturday night, he's like, sitting in his house, and it's like 9:30 or so, and he hears sirens coming, and he's getting closer and closer and closer and closer to his house. Sounds like they're right out front. So now he's going bam, bam, bam. He knocked like 3 times, kicked the door in, full riot squad, guns to the head. You're under arrest for attempting domestic terrorism or some shit like that. You know what I mean? So he spent 8 days under a psychiatric evaluation, which they can do if they feel that you're a terrorist, and they just want to see how you react and that thing. And he was like, well, he couldn't believe it. He thought it was over with. He thought it was all cool. So then they charged him with that. So he's facing 5 to 10. Since then, because he emails me every couple of days. And in fact, I talked to the lady who's the reporter from the Kentucky town that he's in for the television station, and she said that the American Civil Liberties Union are gonna defend him. Plus, I said they're going to be lined out the door. Come on, that's the Constitution, that's our First Amendment, the freedom of speech. He didn't do anything. All he did was put a lyric on there. Now, since then, the police from there, they're all backing off. They're like, wait a minute, well, we didn't know. And like, well, you didn't know. You should have done your research before you served the warrant. So somebody's ass is going to get handed to him. So he's in a good place right now, because obviously, and they rule news, because obviously it's the United States, and now the gun thing, they're trying to screw with that. Now they're trying to mess with the First Amendment again. You know what I mean? That's why everybody was on him. So he's going to do all right. He'll be all right.
Well, that's good to hear. Getting back to what I was going to address, I hope I'm getting the guy's name right. That Mark Frayne. I don't know if you're following any of that as far as what the police have been doing. From what I understand, they're kicking people out of houses while they're searching for this guy, and we're on day 13 at this point. Considering all of that stuff that's going on, I mean, do you consider at this point that we might very well be at a police state, or not quite there yet, but possibly getting there? I mean, considering the lyrics to Exodus, what do you and maybe the others think about like the current state of everything that's been going on lately?
Yeah, it's a mess, isn't it? It's just a mess. It's
It is.
John of the New Centurion, basically. You know what I mean? It's this whole new wave that's come in. So I'm not worried about it. It's First Amendment. We sing about it. You don't want to hear it? Fine. You want to stick to the records like you did 30 fucking years ago? Go ahead and do it. You know what I mean? It's like, do what you got to do. We're not changing. We don't care. And after I saw that, I went on my Twitter and my Instagram and said, post heavy metal lyrics all over Facebook. Fuck them. You know what I mean? So, that's all right. Hey, you wanted to create a social media? That's what you get. You're going to get the good and bad with everything. That's part of it. It's their paranoia. The terrorists won. They won. They're winning right now. You can't even walk into a fucking airport, without it being like, you feel like a criminal every time you're going through the thing, like you've done something wrong,
Yeah.
And it's just, they when they came through and they blew up those planes, they accomplished exactly what they set out to do. Fear and paranoia throughout the world, and they have. Do you know, like when you leave Europe now, entering the United States, your cell phone has to be on a full charge or they'll take it from you if they pull you out of it, because they found out that there's this undetectable explosive that they can put in a cell phone. As soon as you turn it on, it'll explode. So you have to have your phone on when you enter an airplane.
Really?
Yes, sir. I left Antwerp about a month and a half ago, and the guy was driving. He goes, "How's your cell phone?" I go, "Oh, it's a little low." He goes, "Here, give it to me. You got a 5?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm going to charge it." I go, "Why?" He goes, "If they pull you out of line and ask to see your cell phone and it's on a low charge or it's not charged, I'll take it." I'm all, "What?" He's like, "Yes, I'll take it. And you ain't going on that flight if you want to stink and retrieve it." So I have to charge my phone. You have to keep it on.
I never even heard of that. Thanks for that heads up.
Yeah, so leaving Heathrow, especially leaving England, you know what I mean? They're just not screwing around anymore.
No, clearly.
We fly all the time. I mean, I fly constantly. I have to fly to South America on Sunday, and every time you go to a new city, it's not like on a tour bus. You have to fly there, so I'll probably do 26 flights in the next 3.5 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's like you fly everywhere.
Yeah.
Tour bus, you're not driven anywhere. There's no vans, there's no tours. You just, you're from Rio to Sao Paulo is a flight. From Sao Paulo to Belgium is a flight. Belgium to Brasilia is a flight. From there, it's all a flight. Everything's a flight.
What's next for you? What's going on after this?
Well, obviously we're going to go out with Slayer and Suicidal. That starts November 12th, and then here, and then we leave for a month. And so then we'll come back, and I'm sure next year's just going to be loaded full of shit, because obviously Blood and Blowout is going to be relatively new, and it'll be 30 years since Bonded by Blood, so I hear there's a lot of good shit coming down the pipe.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. I really do appreciate it.
Jason.
I've been trying to talk to you for a while, but scheduling just couldn't happen.
That's okay. We got it taken care of.
Yep. All right. Well, either way, it was great talking to you. Take care.
Great, man. Have a good day.
You too.